Hello everyone. This is Abhishek Barua from AnyRadio. AnyRadio is a lifestyle platform for all like-minded individuals formed with an intent to stream hard work of talented CPs. Today we are here to talk about evolution of music in the contemporary world, and we're joined by the very talented Abhilash Choudhury.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks for having me.
so firstly, yeah, it's a pleasure for us to have you as well.
It's a pleasure for me as well.
Uh, so first, I would want you to give us a glimpse of who you are and what you do for the people watching.
Uh, I'm based out of Guwahati, and I'm basically a musician. I like calling myself a musician. But then inside music, there are certain things that I do. For example, I write songs. I do composing. I do sing as well. And I also do production and arrangement. So I'm more like a singer songwriter, music producer. I mean, that's the easiest way to, I think, describe the kind of work that I do. Uh, and uh, and yeah, I mean, it's been around, I guess. If I say about performance, it's more than 20 years that I've been performing on the stage. But uh, as a songwriter and a singer, I have been doing this maybe since 8 or 9 years. Uh, and uh, and yeah, like there are like different things that I have done through the span of these years. I was more of a singer songwriter. Sorry, initially, but now as time has passed and I have started working on different things. So you know, I've also got into music production, and I've also started, doing things for other people as well. I've I have started to work on background scoring, or maybe do stuff for a jingle for an ad, stuff like. I'm just trying to uh, get my life started. That's why I'm kind of juggling between a couple of things. But yeah, I mean that's more of uh, what I do as a musician. And yeah, I mean, it's always a different experience doing different kinds of things. For example, like when I write a song, I mean, writing as in like write down the lyrics of a song. Uh, I'm always in a different set of mind compared to when I do composing. And yeah, I mean, I'm more into alternative music, stuff like alternative rock, or alternative electronic music, stuff like that. I like that more, exploring that side of spectrum of music more. Um, and yeah, let's see what happens in the future. I mean, I think it's too early to tell different things, and like, I think there's so much more that I have to do uh, from myself, uh, you know, as far as learning is concerned, uh, and as far as evolution is concerned. So I think I've just started out. It's been just one album and one EP that I have released so far. So let's see where it takes me. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the one album has been is very good actually.
Did it used to happen
So
like from the starting to the end?
uh, yeah, I listen to the whole thing.
All right. I mean, it's very rare to find people listening to albums nowadays, because the industry is so much
True, true.
dominated by just singles, just a song. I mean, that's how the industry kind of operates. What happened? Okay, we're back. Uh, I think the internet just went in between somewhere. But yeah, I was telling
Yeah,
about
yeah.
albums. So it's the music industry works in very different kind of way nowadays. There's one song that people kind of work on, do a good music video for it. Try to promote it as much as they can. Uh, Again, like the investments are quite same. I mean, you need a lot of money to make a music video, right? So uh, again, like an album is altogether a different kind of ball game than a single. It's more like playing a test match, rather than playing T20.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You get lot of songs. I mean, there are a lot of songs to work on. uh, you need to make sure every song sounds great. Every song is arranged in a way that it engages the listener, uh, along with the writing. And then when you call something an album, it's not just a random set of songs that you put together. Uh, the it's I mean that can be done that way. Like a lot of the pop albums are done like that. You just pick a couple of songs and just put them together and call it an album. But then if you look back in the like what happened in the 70s and the 60s, there was so much of conceptual thing that went around while you did an album. There was either like uh, a continuation in the music that was done. For example, like if you start from the start and listen till the end, it was like a one song, which goes on and on and on. There's the songs were either connected, or otherwise you can also what you can also do is you can do have a uh, conceptual similarity in the songs. So what I have done here in this album is to have more of the conceptual consistency, uh, from the starting to the end, which deals more much like a lot with. That's some hard
I
noise.
guess yeah, that's some background noise.
What's that noise? I mean,
Actually, construction is going around, so yeah, kind of
okay,
it is.
okay. Yeah, that. So back to what I was telling. I mean, it's always a different ball game doing an album, and it took me 4 years to put this album together. I mean, there have been singles that went out back into 2020. A couple of singles that went out in the starting, but yeah, I mean, it took me a lot of years and to polish these set of songs, uh, to become what they really are, and it's always a game, to work on stuff and uh, make it enjoyable or listenable or make it engaging. So yeah, so a lot of kind of that kind of work goes in. Sorry, I forgot your question. My answer was like so long. What was the question? I mean,
It's an uh, like I asked, like it's not ask a question. We're just like we're just talking about your album.
yeah. So yeah, that's what I try to do in this album, like to have a thematic consistency in the songs. So that kind of helped me to put the album together and make it sound like a piece of sounded look like a piece of art, rather than uh, having a having just a set of songs together. Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you that the thing about concert streaming was a lifeline for the music industry during the pandemic. So, what are your views on the same?
I could not do much of the concert streaming. I think I have just done a couple of them. Uh, this year I did one for Skillbox that was called Artist for a Cause. That was again done for uh, for gathering fund for the COVID victims or their families, which was done by Skillbox, and a lot of artists all across from all across the country actually joined that initiative and did their part. Apart from that, I have not done so much of uh, concert streams. Of course, it's helping a lot of musicians. Uh, sorry, to present their music. But then again, like you need a lot of good gear to do a proper streamed music show. And there are a lot of factors that come into it. Like, for example, like you need to have a very very good broadband connection or a fiber optic network to broadcast your performance well, because there's so much of signal, right? And then if you're performing with a band, for example, what I do, perform with a band, so there are multiple instruments uh, that need to be mixed together, and then that mix has to be synced with the video, and that has to be sent over. So it's like a lot of information. If we talk in the scientific terms, it's a lot of information that needs to be broadcasted. Like, it's almost like transmitting around 3-4 mbps or even more data per second. Maybe more, I'm just making it up. So yeah, that infrastructure is still not there in India. I mean, I have talked to the promoters, I have talked with so many people. Of course, there are people who are doing stuff like you know mm, recording, like pre-recorded, like they record it live, and then so that there's no problems
And
during
then do it
broadcast.
good on.
Yeah, they put that. That's also one way to do it. I mean, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, nothing can replace the feeling of a live, proper live show where you have an audience. For the one event that I did, as a as an acoustic artist, I just had my guitar and my vocals straight into my computer. I mean, my audio interface, and then into my computer. There was no mix, anything required. Like, I set it everything up. It was a very simple thing to do. But Joa, Joa, yeah, Joa. Just a second. Mainuba. Sorry. Yeah. So I was talking about streaming. So yeah, that again, like, needs a lot of technical gears and gadgets that require for pulling things off. And again, the internet speed is a big factor. So, and then again, like, my idea is to always put across the best, this thing, like the um, best production available. So again, that factor is like very very important. If it's not, if it doesn't go out, if it doesn't sound good or look good to the viewer, that again, like, uh, you know brings a bad impression for the artist. So considering all of these factors, I have not, like, ventured so much into live streaming. But then hopefully, yeah, things would get better, and there will be more, it will be more easily accessible and more easily doable. For example, like I'll give you a very simple example. Like, I have seen so many live streamed events, but then I have never got a proper sound that needs to be transmitted. Sometimes the sound is too low. If it's too high, then it's peaking. Like, when something goes out of, when something starts distorting. For example, uh, uh, I mean, I don't know how to explain it to you, since you might not be able with so many terminologies. But when there is a term that we use in music production, which is called clipping. So most of the times, it's either too low or it starts to clip. There is no proper sound transmission. In a lot of the shows, I have seen that happen. So it's always, mm, I have not been able to pull it off, I would say, in the best possible way. And then like,
So,
the other factor is, I have been working on the album, right? Like, a lot of my time in the last maybe 15, not even 15, like last 18 months, more than 18 months, I guess. More than last 18 months have gone into making this album. So that was again one reason why I couldn't do so much of live stream shows. Yeah. But
Moving
yeah,
on to the next
it's
question.
a good option. Uh, you
Yes,
asked
yes,
about
yes.
like
So I think
you asked about.
I think there's an audio lag.
I guess so. Yeah. So you asked about how it's good for artists. It's really good for artists, I would say. I mean, as long as the quality of production is good and people are getting a good sound and a good visual, it's always good. But then it has to be done in the best way to provide that experience to the audience. Yeah, I'm done with my answer now.
That's it. Okay. Moving on to the next question. It
Yep.
seems that music is being widely and creatively used as means to individually and socially cope with several of
Right.
um,
Hmm.
sorry, I think this is a network issue. Okay. So what I was saying is,
Hmm.
okay, I think like it seems that music has been widely and creatively used as means to individually and socially cope with several of the challenges posed by the current crisis onto individuals.
Hmm.
Um, Among them are
Hmm.
anxiety, boredom, then loneliness, stress, and uncertainty about the future.
Right.
So, what is your take on that?
My take as in how music helps, or like on the role of music, right?
Yeah, yeah, like on how it has been able to cope, sociably with these challenges.
Well, my entire album is like, again, like whatever the words you said, it's always it deals with those words only. Just now, for example, anxiety and existentialism and stress and fear. So all those elements are there. And as far as music goes, I mean, there are definitely difference of opinion. For example, people who work in the commercial music industry, who mainly make commercial music, uh, they don't care about such things. I mean, they just need to sell music. So for that, uh, yeah, for that, they make content that is like easily consumable, or things that make people happy or make people dance. As simple as that.
Yeah,
I mean, music industry is very different. I mean, the artists who are doing stuff, uh, those are those that are writing about social issues or personal issues. They're not signed to any big record labels or stuff. They're all doing it independently. If you want to get into the business, if you want to get signed to a record label, you'll have to bring much different things than dealing with existential crisis.
yeah,
uh so yeah, but then yeah, people who are doing, like artists who are doing, or musicians who are doing that, I mean, hats off to them. uh I don't know what, as an audience, how everyone else feels, because things are very very subjective. As far as I am concerned, I do like to listen to such kind of music. I mean, uh, sometimes what happens is that when you when you hear a song about existentialism, you understand, okay, this is my limitation. But at the same time, you know who you are, so you know what you can do. You also know that what you can't do, but you also know what you can do. So that actually gives you a hope. So not every negative thing or every depressing thing is depressing. There's always a other side to it as well. For example, like a lot of people, for example, let's take an example of a band like Radiohead. Radiohead's music is like, I don't know if you've heard about Radiohead or if listened to Radiohead. I am a big fan, uh, and their music is always being deemed as very very depressing. But I don't think so. I mean, there's a song called Weird Fishes. I think it's, I don't know if you've heard the song or not, but it's one of the most inspiring songs that I have heard in
No,
my
I
life.
have like things I've heard the band's name and I've probably heard a couple of songs, but not the one you're speaking of.
That's the thing. I mean, a lot of the good stuff is
Yeah, yeah,
underrated, right? A lot of the good stuff is
yeah. Like
underrated.
it gets, I believe it gets overshadowed by some things that just suddenly blast off.
Correct. Yeah. For example, I mean, most of the good songs, I mean, musically well-written songs by the bands, they are not so popular. I mean, only the songs that kind of are very simple, catchy, those get popularized really fast. I mean, it used to happen back in the
Like
80s. If you listen to the pop music,
usually like the songs that you can groove to, the ones that usually get popular.
yeah, I mean, depends from like region to region. I mean, some again like if you make a very peppy kind of song, electronic dance song, it kind of sells really well. I mean, let's just accept what's going on. So,
Yeah, true.
or or a love song. A love songs kind of sell really well everywhere. People love people love being in that feeling of euphoria that you get when you fall in love. And I think love songs make you feel that way, and that's why they sell so much. I mean, it's always a very easy thing to sell when you make a love song. I mean, I'm not trying to bring down any artist or any musician who's doing that, but I'm just trying to explain you how this industry works. Yeah. And you got to know, I mean, at the end of the
No.
day, you are in the industry because you need to make money, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
also need to know how to sell your music, or how to make your music in a way that kind of people will like and appreciate and listen again and again. So there are tips and tricks that you have to try out. Yeah.
No, I don't know. Like, I might be wrong, but it's just my view. What I think is that like these songs are good, and I also enjoy a lot of these sort of songs. But for me, like the core of music is that it has to have like that writing. It has to like
Right.
do with do with like these current issues that are going on in the world and all.
Hmm.
Then it well, like
I
it
mean, it's again
really
like
hits.
it depends from musician to musician again. Like someone, I mean, there are people who speak a lot about like communism and stuff like that, but I haven't seen them really help people at the time of distress. So just by uh, I mean, I don't know how to explain this to you, but then if you're singing about communism, and then in real life, if you're not helping people when they're in trouble, or if you're not a people's artist or people's man, then there's no point in it's just again like business. So so you can't say. I mean, it's always subjective, and one thing is always there. I mean, all these things, music or movies or books, uh, they do give people a perspective, to think about, or they do make people contemplate about things, but they don't really are not really necessary that these kind of things are going to change the world, because there have been so many good artists who have spoken about issues, who have spoken about problems of the people. But yeah, world is always getting worse, right? day by day. I mean, when Amitabh Bachchan used to be an actor, all his roles, like he always used to be the good man who fights the bad guys. You know, uh, there has been an era of those kind of movies. I was not even born then. Back then, you forget about you. I mean, it's a long time back,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
he always used to do these kind of roles that inspired people. To become good versions of themselves, to become like to support what's good, to support the people, to speak for the people, to fight for the people. He has done so many such kind of roles, and even that kind of acting or that kind of message didn't change the society. So, I mean, I don't think music or art can change the world, but it does give people uh, a perspective to think about things in a different way. I feel.
Mhm. No, because at the end of the day, it's like not just thinking and forgetting. It's like sticking to it that really brings about change.
Right. Again, I said right. I mean, it also depends on the person. Like someone who is uh, someone who is very compassionate, or a person who really thinks about such kind of things. It's gonna make a more impact on that kind of a person rather to a regular guy who's just waking up every day, having his food, and going back to bed. So it's always subjective, I feel.
So, okay, now coming to the next question. I wanted to know what's brewing next for your listeners.
Oh well, I think we are in the plans of making a couple of music videos from this album. We already have 5 videos out. There are 10 songs in total. We have 5 videos out. Two are music videos. One is the animated video. Um, Again, shout out to Streets Kotha who has done the video. They're doing an excellent job. They did my music video for the other song Dauria, which was also great. I feel recently they did a song with Casey called Panikia. That video is awesome. So those guys have been really like doing a great stuff. And then I also have 2 lyrical videos out for Dream, and one for the last song that I went out on my YouTube channel, which I think is called Desire. So yeah, I mean, apart from that, we are planning to put out a couple of more music videos, and then I have some plans. I mean, if I spill the beans, now people will not have that element of surprise. So uh, let it be like that. I have got good things coming up. That's all I can say. And I also want to surprise people. I
So,
mean, when I so when I kind of did my first EP, which was called Musafir, if you listen to those songs, you will not be able to imagine that the same person who did those tracks actually made this album, because it doesn't sound anything similar. So yeah, I want to do again. I don't want to be stuck with any kind of a specific sound. I want to evolve. I want to try out different things. So even I don't know what's gonna happen next. I do have some singles lined up for probably the end of the year and the starting of 2022. Then yeah, I have a lot of songs, to work on. Some of which are already done. Actually, they just need to be mixed and mastered. So I'm thinking of doing the next album as well, working on the set list of next track list of next album, trying to get things together, trying to make a story out of things, rather than just again what I said, rather than just putting a set of songs on top of each other. So yeah, that process is going on. Hopefully, I'll have some announcements maybe in the middle of next year, when I feel like it's the right time to announce about an album. But then, yeah, I have few EP ideas as well, singles as well. So yeah. I've got good music coming up.
So,
That's what I can promise.
yeah, so bottom line is that your listeners should be excited for some great stuff coming down.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I like to keep people guessing. Every time I release a song, especially in this album, every time
I
I
understand.
have released this song, yeah, people have come back to me and said, "See, it doesn't sound like you." And what I always say is that it doesn't have. I don't have to sound like anything. I mean, I just have to make music, and people just have to listen. If I don't want to be typecasted into any kind of a specific kind of a singer songwriter. So in India, especially, that after this whole indie revolution started and people started uh, doing more of singer songwriter stuff. People have this idea that when you say singer songwriter, it's like a guy with a acoustic guitar who's going to sing about his ex girlfriend. So uh, I don't buy that thing. A singer songwriter can do a electronic song. A singer songwriter can do a progressive track. A singer songwriter can also do an alternative track. A single songwriter can also be a blues musician, or a jazz musician, or an Indian classical musician also. So I just want to break those rules and just do music, man. I didn't start doing music to just be in a genre and make music. I wanted to make music. I wanted that process to make me happy. So whatever makes me happy, whatever process makes me happy, I'm going to follow that process.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I wanted to ask you that what do you think? Like, how can we build a sustainable music ecosystem to support musicians for future disruption?
Number one thing, education is very important. Awareness is very important. Lot of the musicians still don't know how to, still don't know how to produce music. Number one, see, there are three things I feel that you can divide this entire process into. Number one is production. Number two is distribution. Number three is marketing. Right? So people need to know, like the artists need to know every single detail of everything. First thing is production. Uh, if a regular guy wants to rent out a studio and make an album, he probably will have to, he or she or they will probably have to, rent, pay a lot of money to the studio if you want to record the whole album. So you need to record things at home. My album, I have done all of the recording at my bedroom. It doesn't sound like a bedroom produced album, but I have done that, and that's the learning curve that I had. I started recording stuff back in 2016, so I have learned all through these years how to use my instruments, how to use my microphone, how to use other things. I've learned how to record. I've learned how to program stuff. There's a weird noise coming in. I don't know from where. Can you put yourself on mute, maybe,
Uh,
Abhishek?
okay, okay, sure, sure. I guess my mic is causing some problem.
Yeah, that's better. So I was saying that number one, I mean, the the musicians need to know how to produce their own music. It's not an easy job. It doesn't come to you overnight. It will take 2 years or maybe 3 years or 4 years. But you have to try. You have to try and see how to record yourself. You have to try and see how what kind of instruments can be put. It's always for example, musicians in like northeast basically like more or less listen to rock music. There are other elements that you can incorporate as well. So how you will develop your sound, right? Even if you're a rock musician, there are a lot of elements that you can add. uh, Again, like if you're an electronic musician, there's a lot of folk elements that you can add. So how you're going to go about and put ornamentation on top of the beautiful songs that you write, then again you have to know how to write a song. Every time if you ask a lyricist to write a song for you, he's gonna you'll have to pay something to him, right? So as it's always important to do as much, to know how to do as much as you can as a musician. That covers our production part, you know. There's always a learning curve for everyone. You'd start your first initial recordings or demos that you make, they'll sound crap. That has happened to me as well. It happens to everyone, but that's not the end. The more you do it, you're gonna learn, and you're gonna learn. One day you're gonna just see that, okay, when I record a song, it now it has started to sound like a song, you know. uh, so that's the thing. Next thing is distribution, how you're going to get paid for the music that you make. In which platforms are you going to put the song, who's going to distribute your music, and then how much of royalty you're going to get from the music that you distribute. There are distributors who take 30%, there are someones who take 20, who take, there are others who take 15. So how much of royalty split you're going to have between you and your distributor. Number two, distribution. Number three, marketing. Again, you can hire an agency for doing the marketing, but the more you learn, uh, the better it is for you. Like it's the most cost efficient thing for you to know about, to know more and more about uh, uh, marketings, how to use the platforms, how to use Instagram for building your fan base, a lot of things. So yeah, I mean, it's difficult, it's not easy. And every day, every single day, there are new musicians coming in the scene. Every single day, if you see, there, like, if you follow the popular music uh, publishings of India, you would see every single day there are like tens or hundreds of artists starting their music career. So it's not easy. I mean, to make music has been easy. Like, you can produce everything in your computer now. You don't even have to go to a studio. If you make an investment of around 1.5 to 2 lakhs, you can build a decent studio inside your home. You can do everything, but you'll need to get those skills, you know. And again, those skills need to be the best. So yeah, it's always a gradual thing to do it, but it's always important to not lose heart. I mean, there have been days when I've thought of giving up everything. Why I'm doing that? Already having a comfortable life. Why I'm taking all that pressure of doing so much of things? Because it's not easy. It's a lot of hard work. Music, acting, whatever you see, these movies that you see, the music that you listen to, on the backside, there's a lot of sweat, man. There's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of sweat. There's a lot of anger, frustration. There's a lot of patience. Um, Movies are even difficult, I would say, as I find it very difficult to make a music video. Like, uh, like, although I have team, I have other people who do things for me, but still, like, having myself in that position of telling them my feedback, seeing a music video, telling them how it looks and how it doesn't look, if it looks good, if it doesn't look good, like that process itself is like so, it's so difficult. Because, like, I mean, you always have, like, again, like, because it's subjective, right? What I like, the director might not like. What the director likes, I might not like. So it's draining. It's it's physically, it's emotionally draining. So and then I have been doing things, like, I have been working out a lot of stuff, because there's no money in the business since this pandemic started, so you also need to uh, see where from this money is going to come, uh, how you're going to invest, how you're going to make the money that you're going to invest in your album. Because I am sending like 10 songs to get mixed and mastered together. The sound engineer is going to take money for that, right? For each song I have to pay the guy something. So yeah, it's a long process, lot of calculations. And yeah, although, even if you hate the industry, you need to learn the business of how to how to do it in the best possible way. That way, I think it makes the journey is much more easier. And again, like, it's very easy to blame the industry and blame the market, but there's things that you need to accept, and you need to do uh, from your side in order to survive and sustain in this industry. Yeah, and that completes my answer.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. That was very great answer. Now,
I
so,
hope so.
yeah, yeah, no, no, okay. So, just it's like I have to switch between mute and unmute because like the construction work begins at 2.
Yeah, I mean, but it's too late at night to do such things, right? I mean, it's almost, how much is it?
No,
Like
that's
six
why
o'clock now.
I did not inform for that reason because I expected okay it would be done and dusted by this time.
Hmm. That's fine. I mean, there's always some technical issues. So this is the reason I didn't get into live streaming shows because there are so many problems, right? So many issues that you have to deal with. Yeah.
Okay, so like this is a question from my side. Okay, so I wanted to know on what are your
Hmm.
views on I like you have answered this like briefly before, but like I wanted to answer like
Hmm.
specifically on what do you think about hiring lyricists to like specifically write the music and then like just singing.
Well, of course, like most of the artists that work with big labels, they do that. That's where the industry comes in. Like that's where the record labels comes in. They pay a good amount of money to write songs, and it's absolutely fine, I guess, as long as the songwriters are given credit for that. They're paid money for that. It's fine. I mean, it's actually a job in the industry to be a songwriter. Uh, if you don't know, like, lot of I don't know if it's a lot of good songs. There's a song called "Love Yourself" by Justin Bieber. I'm giving a very common example from
Yeah.
pop music industry so that things are. So "Love Yourself" is actually written by Ed Sheeran. If you didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a nice song. It's a nice song. I do listen to Justin Bieber, by the way. Like, a lot of people hate him because
Yeah.
he got very rich. By the
I
age
don't
of
know.
19, he became
Like,
too rich.
no, I believe
So
it
yeah, it's
has
obvious.
become like a trend to hate on Justin Bieber just because he became rich.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, if you listen to him, like, I have seen his clips where he sings live, in front of a camera and stuff. And he's a good singer, man. He's a good songwriter as well.
Yeah,
And most of the songs is the process that he follows is he just writes the initial idea, then sends it to a songwriter, then that songwriter actually works on that idea, and it's a collaborative effort. So those things are there. I mean, this is not a new thing, by the way. Lot of lot of rock bands used to have songwriters. This is again a thing that was introduced by the record
uh,
labels, because a lot of the what happened with a lot of the bands is that they knew how to write songs, but then when it came to arrangements or putting layers to make things more tasty or make things songs more engaging, so there's a rule, which again I have heard, it's not a very rule of thumb, I would say, but there's a rule in pop music that says that in every second, uh, in a song, every 7 seconds you need to have a good hook in order to make the song a hit. There's some things like that. I have also heard this from someone else. Like, I'm not really sure, but I'm just saying because you brought this thing up. So yeah, I mean, being a songwriter is also a job in the industry. People do that; they get good money as long as people are getting credit for that and people are getting money for that. I'm absolutely fine. But then again, like when an artist uh, like Steven Wilson, writes his own music, does his own lyrics, sings himself, produces himself, mixes and masters himself. That sounds something else. That sounds honest, true, and that music remains, and definitely has a very longer lifetime compared to songs that are just written for the purpose of selling. But yeah, as long as being songwriter is fine, and taking a lyricist is also fine. But like, it should not be the same lyricist again and again that you're working with, and then every sound of yours sounding the same. Uh, Making the same record again and again is something that I really don't really like or appreciate. I mean, I'll be very honest about it, but there are people who do that and successfully do that, and it's good for them. It's good for them, man.
Also, like I wanted to ask you, like, I don't know, like I have no idea about these stuff, right? This is completely coming from a person who has no relation to this, like music industry and anything. Uh, but is it usually that like when you start off, to compare to like when you start getting bigger, that you start using more songwriters rather than writing your own?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you have to put out a 20-song album in
Mhm,
1 year
mhm,
and get all of the songs together, like, that might not be possible for a single artist to do. And again, like, when you are successful, you can hire the best people, right, to write the best music for you.
mhm,
So yeah, that thing actually comes with more, having more money in your pocket to do things like that. But again, like, when you have multiple songwriters in a song, that song becomes a hit very soon, and also dies down on your memory very soon, I feel. What's Things that are written very honestly and truly and for yourself, for the purpose of reflecting your own feelings, I think they always last longer than uh, things written by multiple songwriters. uh, but yeah, people do that, and they very successfully do that, and credit goes to the songwriters, man. For a lot of good pop music that we are listening to now, credit goes to a lot of songwriters whose names are not even there on the records. But yeah, like, they're doing really good.
yeah,
But they are there on Wikipedia, by the way.
mhm, mhm. No, yeah, even recently, like there was this surge of lyricists actually, like asking for getting credits in music, like songs that they wrote, like they did not get the credits
Well,
and stuff like that.
it's I think I would say that's the mistake of the artist under whose name those songs went out.
Mhm.
It's very it's a very upsetting thing to do. Should not be done by anyone. I try to give credit for everything, even if someone is doing
Mhm.
artwork for me, making videos.
Yeah,
I
even
try to
even
give
while
the
you're
credit.
like talking about it just now, you're still like giving credits to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really given the credit today, but yeah, I mean, because we have not talked so much about the album, but this album would not have
Yeah,
sounded the way it is without our post producer engineer, who was Romil Sinha, and Sunny and Vivek, who worked on the album. That album sounds like that because those people were there. I have given them credits on my videos and everywhere, on social media and everywhere, and people know that those people are. So it's not only about giving credit them once, it's also about making people realize that fact again and again, so that those people also get a certain kind of exposure or popularity or whatever you call it, so that they also get good projects in future. um, yeah, I try to do that. Yeah, I try to give credit to the lyricist as well. Like, on my song Dauria, you will see, if you look at Spotify, I have given the credit for Swaraj for writing half of the song. So that's a song that was half written by him. So yeah, I just gave him the credit for that. It's simple, no? Give the credit and be at peace. Simplest thing to do. Yeah,
Uh,
and
so
it doesn't bring any
like I
complications.
want to like
I said it doesn't bring any
yeah,
kind of
sorry.
complications in the future. Yeah, it's also always good to give the credit for. Again, like I start from scratch, so yeah, I mean I try to do 80-90% of my work myself. So that's a good way to avoid giving credits to others, I feel.
Okay, so like going back to like the topic of this whole session, what do
Hmm.
you think is evolution, or what is your say actually on evolution of music in the contemporary world?
I mean, we are not, the genres are not longer genres. Everything is evolved now. Like every single kind of music that we're listening to now, everything is mixed. It's fused. We're already in a fusion world. We don't realize that, but we're already in a fusion world. And I think 80s music is coming back in a modern way. A lot of people, if you have listened to Weekends, like Weekend is one of my most favorite vocalists. Weekend's last album, pure 80s stuff. John Mayer, again one of my most favorite artists. His new album, completely 80s, completely 80s. Like it sounds like it's produced in 2021, but it has that 80s vibe. So people are going back. People are going back to the 80s and 70s to draw inspiration and bring that flavor and kind of produce it, get it produced in the best possible way. So yeah, I mean, people are gonna go back, I feel. And then there's another spectrum, like the alternative electronic scene. That's also going to get very big, I feel. A lot of Indian musicians, like uh, electronic musicians, single producers, solo producers, I mean to say, not single producers. They can be a committed producer as well. So just a joke. So so yeah,
Yeah,
lot of like solo producers are coming in. Lot of um, singer songwriters, again, like me, who just play acoustic guitar. They're also doing really good. I might probably do a couple of acoustic records again, but uh, that should be a surprise for the people, I feel, because mm, yeah, there's always some set of excitement and fun in the surprise. So yeah, let's see where it goes.
okay. So again, thank you for joining us today. It was a great pleasure having you
Thanks
here.
for having me. Yeah, same here. Same here.
Yeah. So, do you have any final like words or anything?
Yeah, take care of yourself, and all the good wishes to Any Radio. For First of all, thanks to Any Radio for doing it, and all the best wishes for your future endeavors. And to the people who are watching, if you haven't listened to my new album, it just dropped on October 8th. It's called While She Waits for the Spring. It's a trilingual album. It has a lot of different kinds of music inside it. It's a very emotional album as well. So if you're an emotional person, if you like emotional music, please go and listen to the songs. Uh, I really feel you should go and listen to the songs. You're gonna like them. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then my
absolutely.
Instagram handle is called
I
Abhilash
vouch for his
Music.
album with all my heart.
Thank Thank you so much. That's so sweet of
Like
you.
it's a great.
And
I'll
then
have a listen.
my yeah, thank you so much for that. And then my Instagram handle is Abhilash Music. If you want to have updates regarding my future releases or things that I do, I'm actually doing a special set of Instagram lives where I kind of come live and I show people the sessions that are there. Like I break down every song. I show them how I made those songs. You know how I layered instruments on top of another instruments and made those songs. First one is already out on my Instagram TV, IGTV, and my Instagram handle is Abhilash Music. That's ABHILASHMUSIC. Abhilash Music. You can just go in there, follow me, and just if you're a new musician, if you're a young musician, I feel you'll really enjoy these videos, and it will definitely help you to arrange your songs and give you ideas of making things in a unique way. So yeah, so a lot of those episodes are also coming out on my Instagram live and will be posted on my Instagram TV as well.
So yeah, again, big thanks to you joining us today.
My pleasure.
So, so yes, with this, I guess we conclude today's session.
Yep, sounds about right.
Okay,
All right then.
thank you.
Thank you so much.